The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, we finally return to the mic to bring you our best and the rest of 2024. Fellow Film Addicts, we're back. I'm Riggs.
I'm Eddie.
And this is the Film Addicts Podcast.
Let's do a fucking show.
Ow! Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts Podcast. We're so happy to be here. It's 2025 and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. We're so glad that you're here. Addie, hey pal, what's going on?
Hi, I'm doing all right. This is a little early today.
It's a little early. Yeah, it is a bit. Not for me, but how are you going with your technical? Addie is holding his microphone because he's having, it looks like a big, delicious icy pole. You thought I was going to say penis, didn't you, everybody? And that is what you should expect from me as fans of this show, but I didn't. I'm trying to do better this year. It's for you. Yeah, how you going? You all settled with your technical difficulties?
I hope so.
Excellent. Well, as I said, we're back. It's been a while. I went away. Left on December 1st, and I didn't arrive back until the middle of January. I was all over the place. I was transcontinental Riggs for a little while. So the last episode you would have heard from us was our fantastic, I thought it was fantastic. It was certainly a lot of fun to record. A Film Addicts commentary, The Room. Hope you all enjoyed that, everybody. But yeah, we're here today to talk about our favourites, or maybe, yeah, probably our favourites is probably the better way to put it, because these aren't films that are necessarily the best of 2024. They're the ones that we liked the most. They might not have been the best produced or the best written or the best scored or the best sound engineered or whatever the fuck, but they're the ones that really, really dug. We're going to talk about TV as well, which I'm pretty excited about. I think some of my best of might be a little contentious for everybody, but fuck it, it's my show. But before we do all of that, I just want to check in with my main man. What's going on? I
went to a resort that's like surrounded by mountains, and from there we went to like this religious place where it's a temple in levels, but it's built on a mountain. Every level is like every level of a mountain. So the higher you go, the lower the air thickness gets.
The atmosphere, yeah.
Yeah. I thought I couldn't make it, but then I walked all the way up there. So that was fun. And yeah, from there on the 2nd to the 5th of January, I went to a beach with my friends.
Nice. Get some rays and a bit of swimming. Your favourite place, the ocean. That's excellent. And it looks like you've been watching quite a few movies as well.
Yes, I'm not caught up yet, but I'm close.
That's totally fair. There's I've just been noticing on Letterboxd you've been logging a lot of hours, mate.
Yes. I want to do one film per day this year. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping you do that. Well,
this is a safe space, but I think you might have a problem. I think you might be a film addict, actually. Mm. So that's, at least you're on brand. Yes. For the program. So, considering that, the what have you watched? Shall we do the first what have you watched 2025?
Yes, let's do what are we
watching?
Yes, I don't know what happened.
Excellent. No, that's great. Oh, mixing it up. I must tell you, I don't have a huge list because, we're going to talk about a bunch of movies that we watched fairly recently anyway. But I watched last night, back to back, I watched Donnie Darko, the Richard Kelly film from 2001 with the very young Jake Gyllenhaal and his sister, no less. Sort of very, very iconic film of that era. And I watched the original cut because We Hate Movies is doing their annual Patreon We Love Movies episode on it. So I wanted to refamiliarize myself before that episode dropped. But I have the DVD box set, which also has the director's cut on it. So I watched that immediately after. So I watched them back to back. And I still think the theatrical cut's actually superior, but it's a little bit cleaner. But yeah, it was just interesting to visit those two films in quick succession. Yeah, I really dug it. And the other one that I watched the other night with my missus is Good Grief, the Daniel Levy film. And it's one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen. It's a perfect script. It's so well executed. The performances are absolutely stellar. And look, I said to my missus at the time, I was like, look, all you need to give me these days is a good story, a good script, and actors who know how to make it come alive off the page. I don't need all the whiz, bang, fiddly boop, doddly bing de ting, whatever's going on. Having said that, we are going to talk about motherfucking Fantastic Four up in this piece shortly. But just, you know, that's what I'm looking for in cinema these days, and that will be reflected in my favourite movies of the year, definitely. So, what have you been watching? Completely unnecessary pause in the middle there, but I thought you'd just take it away.
Christopher Nolan announced that he's adapting The Odyssey into a film, which is insane.
With a cast to beat the band. Fucking hell.
I found this little thing called Epic the Musical. It's the best musical that you've never seen.
Epic the Musical. Okay, keep talking. I'm going to look it up while we talk.
It's made by Jorge Hernandez, and it's basically adapting The Odyssey into a musical. And it is...
Right.
It's about 38, 39 songs long. There are about 10 sagas, and each saga is an act, or like part of an act. There's the kind of musical that has no dialogue, so it's song after song after song.
Yeah, like a proper old school musical, yeah.
Yes, yep. And I fucking loved it. It's the most insane and unique experience of my life, because it's just concept albums.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up here. There's a bunch of them. That's fucking awesome. All right, I'm going to have to get into this. Yeah, cool. Okay, so you watched it, though? It's a thing that you watch? It's not a thing... Because all these links look like just music.
I heard it. It's a concept musical, so I heard it. And then I think they have official animatics commissioned by the creator for all the songs. So you can watch it as well. Like, if you go back to front... listening it's about 2 hours long. Okay,
yeah, cool. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to chuck that on when I'm at the gym, perhaps, and get a sweat on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
I missed you, buddy.
I'm just imagining you naked with just all sweat.
They stopped me doing that at the gym. They were like, "Sir, we cannot have your dongle out while you're fucking doing squats. Everyone can see the entirety of your anus. They can all draw it from memory now." Whatever, I pay my money just like everybody else to go to the gym. I should be able to air out my with the nice fans that are on all the time. It happened the other day, actually. I was wearing shorts because I had no, I'm serious. Listen to me. I didn't show her on my anus, but it was at the gym. And they had fans on, instead of the air conditioning, because they, it just gets stuffy in there. Fans on. And I had my swimming trunks on. Not budgie smugglers, obviously, the Speedo number, the second skin. And, you can tell what I had for breakfast with that thing on. No, I've got actual swimming togs, and you can see he's like, oh, he's got a huge dick, and he also had a black bean burrito. I forgot my point. Oh yeah, I was wearing these togs, and they're quite short, and I walked past one of these fans, and it did blow up there, and it was interesting. There was some effects. I can't deny it. But yeah, no, I've never been naked at the gym. Not on purpose, anyway. Sorry, what were you talking about?
Just your huge dick, man. That's all we're talking about.
Oh, mate, hung like fucking Farlap, everybody. Farlap was a famous racing horse in Australia. That's a very niche joke. I hope all our listeners in Chicago, that tiny, tiny suburb that you were talking about the other day, enjoy that one. We're very happy for your patronage. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll have to have a listen to this proper when I am at the gym completely clothed.
Also, now that you've talked about you going to the gym, it's the last 30 minutes of challenges for me.
Yeah, that's a sexy picture. That's in my top 10 and higher than you think it is because I really liked it. Cool. What else did you watch apart from the musical Odyssey?
I've been watching Severance Season 2, which has been great.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Have you ever watched Severance?
I watched the first season. I haven't gone back yet because I'm in the middle of me and Emily are doing Friday Night Lights, which is excellent. And I'm also redoing, because I didn't watch season 3 and 4, but I started at the beginning, season 1 of Doom Patrol. Because I was...
hell yeah.
Yeah, because I dug it a lot. And that's probably one of my favourite Grant Morrison runs, like of the comics that he's done, that and the Action Comics one that he did for the New 52, of just regular stuff. But so I'm rewatching those. So I can't jump into something else as well until it's finished. Having said that, though, like Apple's doing the shit. I made my top 10 list of TV shows, like for this episode. 4 of them are Apple TV shows. So,
that's cool.
Actually, more than 4. 4 in the top 5, and in total, there's like 7. So 8. Almost all of them. Anyway, challenges, sweaty balls. What's happening?
Yes.
What are we talking about again?
Talking about what are we watching?
Things you watch. Oh, I must ask you. I saw that you logged The Substance on Fuckstock. What is it? Letterboxd.
Wow.
Fuckstock is a very different website, everyone. It's where you buy huge dildos wholesale. But you didn't dig it?
No.
Because I still haven't seen it. I was going to go and see it. The Astor's doing a double bill of that and the Nicholas Winding Refn film Neon Demon next week. So I thought I might go and do the double. But you don't recommend?
You might like it. And I don't know. I'm not a big body horror fan. And like it takes a turn. And like there's definitely stuff there. But it's scratching the surface. Like it's not as deep as you might think it would be.
Yeah, right.
Where like all the work is there for it to just be that deep. Like they don't have to do extra stuff. They just have to acknowledge it in the story, and they don't.
Intellectually, it didn't stimulate you as much as you would have hoped. Yeah.
Also, it's pretty gross.
I'm in the bag because it's Margaret Qualley, and she can butter my biscuit, mate. I'm gonna tell you that much. She is a total babe. I just like her vibe. Is that enough reason to go? Is sort of the question.
Yeah, no, that was my reason to watch it. So,
yeah, and Demi Moore's great. I really Demi and not Jack Quaid's the son, Dennis Quaid, is pretty cool as well. So yeah, I might just go and check it out. That double bill. What else?
So you know, I'm a Critical Role fan.
No, you've never mentioned it.
Yeah. So they're officially ending their 3rd campaign. And this is the first campaign that I watched, like, from episode 1.
Yeah, right.
It's a little hard because we don't know what the future is. And they've talked about at length of what, like, passing the torch. And, like they've done 3 campaigns and, like, a ton of one-shots and other fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Is the end of the campaign. It's the culmination of the story that they've been telling collectively for 3 campaigns in 10 years. And yeah, I haven't watched. So the final episode is the longest Critical Role episode, clocking in at 8.5 hours. Campaign 2's final session was 7 hours 40 minutes.
That's a commitment. Not only for you to watch, but for them to fucking produce. Goodness.
And yeah, it was that episode was shot during COVID.
Good on them. Keeping doing the hard work during the hard times. I dig that a lot.
I'm excited to see where the story goes and how it changes their world. I just haven't watched the last 3 episodes because it's the end and I don't want it to end.
Yeah, I get that. You don't want to engage with it because then you've got to contemplate the end, so to speak.
Yes. I do have a question for you, though. Mm-hmm. From what you've gone back, have you enjoyed Superman and Lois?
So, yeah, I have, yeah. I'm not that far in because I got distracted by Doom Patrol. But, yeah, I think it's probably... It shares DNA with Man of Steel in a way that I like aesthetically. It's not as I like Zack Snyder's style in the sense that he was his own shooter for a long time. So he puts a camera on someone's back or his own back and he finds shots. Like, I really like that. It's not that. It's more prestige than that. So it's a beautiful marriage between the sort of classical cinematic techniques that were used in the OG Superman films, you know, the Christopher Reeve pictures, and the more modern aesthetic that we understand Superman to be. Like, it owes a lot to both of those films, but it also does something that no other Superman story has done. Like, it makes him a dad. They're doing it in the comics, obviously. Like, he's got John and everything, but like him, the family unit of that is what is most interesting about it, and the fact that he hides it from them. And they find out pretty soon. It's like this first or second episode or something like that. But just that has always been something he hides. Because he walks around the house with no glasses on all the time. What are they, fucking stupid? Like, I mean, come on, boys. He's on the... You idiots. One of you has superpowers. One of you has superpowers and could probably see atoms on the arse of a fly. And yet you can't see, oh, my dad looks exactly like Superman. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, I am enjoying it, yes. I think they have great chemistry too, the people who play Lois and Clark. I'm not sure. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. The dude's the little kid from fucking Road to Perdition, which is one of my favorite movies. But yeah, I love it. It's good fun. I'm looking forward to getting through it.
Yeah, that's in my top shows of 2024.
Yeah, it probably would have been mine as well if I'd watched the most recent season in this year, because I do like it. But yeah, speaking of things that we might have been watching. This morning we both watched something, or I watched it this morning. Should we get into the nerd news and just talk about 2 trailers that have come out?
Yes.
I think that's important. Here it is, everybody. First nerd news 2025. Fantastic Four! It's Fantastic Four! It's first steps, and of all the fucking horrendous, absolutely mind-numbingly stupid AI versions of shit that people made of this before it happened, you said to me, oh, the new trailer's out. No, that's totally AI generated because Pedro Pascal doesn't have 6 fingers on his hand or whatever the fuck, you know. And then they come out with this baller-ass trailer that is everything you want it to be. The thing looks fucking awesome. I'm sorry, that looks exact. And the voice is right where you need it to be. It's not cartoony, but it's also not cartoony. He's great. Ebon Moss is excellent. I've loved him for a long time. I know everyone loves him from The Bear, but I really liked him as Microchip in the first season of Punisher. But yeah, he's killing it. And I think the aesthetic is really cool. I like the time period. I don't know how it fits into the Marvel Universe. I don't fucking care. I'm just excited to see a Fantastic Four movie that looks like a Fantastic Four movie. You know, whatever comes, we're gonna face it as a family. They show everyone's powers except Reed's, which is interesting. John Malkovich is in it. You see Galactus's head up against the Statue of Liberty, which I fucking went past on the Staten Island ferry like 3 weeks ago. I can't wait. This is probably the most excited I've been for a superhero film in a really long time. I am kind of looking forward to the new Cap picture with Anthony Mackie and my main man Harrison. I just think it looks interesting. It looks sort of political, thriller-ish kind of style, which is what I like about those movies. Number 2 is my favorite, because of that, because it's like fucking, 3 Days of the Condor, but with Captain America in it. But yeah, this one's really got me jazzed. How do you feel about it? You seem pretty excited too.
Yeah, same feelings. I love the tone of it. I love how they are Fantastic Four to that world. Like, it's like they're the saviors and celebrities. And I love the VistaVision inspiration that they've taken for the trailer, at least.
Yeah, that higher format of negative as opposed to the wider. Yeah, definitely.
I think the biggest surprise that I had watching the trailer was they showed the thing, and not in just like one scene. Like it looks so fucking good.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
That's the thing they would have had to crack first. So they've been working on it for a long time. Yeah,
it doesn't look like a rubber suit. It doesn't look like rocks might just fall off him. He looks like the Thing, man.
And it also it hits emotional beats. Like he's saying, you know, before the accident, before you were invisible, before Ben was a rock, before Johnny could burst into flames, and she's like, Ben's always been a rock, Johnny's always been Johnny, and I'm right here. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's character. It's you know, using these things as metaphor to talk about ourselves. Like that's what I'm interested in. And the fact that you see Galactus's head, I'm like, they're fucking doing it. They're fucking doing Galactus. He's not a big cloud in the sky or whatever it was in Silver Surfer. Also, we haven't seen the Silver Surfer yet. Like,
yes,
that's
it's going to be Shalaval.
Well.
It's going to be Shalaval.
I can't wait. I'm fucking doing flips, you know? It's really exciting to see something interesting and new come out. And it doesn't look like any other Marvel film that I'd seen.
Yeah, I think that's their biggest USP.
Beg your pardon? The biggest USB? Isn't that something you plug into something to download files?
No,
or upload files?
USP for P for penis.
USP?
Yep.
Your sexy penis. Your doesn't start with you, mate.
There's a unique selling point.
Oh, unique selling penis is pretty great as well, though. That's what people think of me when I'm at the gym. Wow, that guy's got a really unique selling penis. Oh, here come the police again.
It's a green dick with pink foreskin.
You know it. Flashbacks. Yeah, that always happens. What do you mean I can't be naked at the gym? Oh, great. Now I'm electronically tagged again. Anyway, Fantastic Four First Steps. Did it have a release date? I didn't see.
It's coming out 25th of July. Like a week and a half after Superman.
Right on. Ooh, that is going to be a battle to beat the band. I think Soup. Well, that's a good segue, by the way. Soups is gonna beat it just purely for interest's sake, I reckon. That's a good piece of. He's got a little Lego Superman he just put in front of the thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Soups then. There's 2 trailers dropped since we last spoke. One while I was away, and one a couple of days ago that was like a TV spot that had the flying in it where the camera's like strapped to his body, or it looks like it's strapped to his body. It's obviously not because he's Superman. You have to talk about this one first because you're the Soups.
I'm not the Soups.
You are, mate. You're the Soup. You're corn soup. I remember. The corn chips.
I did not enjoy it the first time I watched it.
This is the original trailer, the first trailer that dropped. Yep.
Yeah, I felt it was very flashy. It was very oversaturated, and the electric guitar riff with John Williams' score is still something that I do not like.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to. It seems like they've kind of blended the Zimmer and the Williams score together somehow. I reckon they should have just started from scratch and built a new theme. I think it would have been better for their universe because they're now relying. They remove themselves so completely and so wholeheartedly from the Snyderverse, and then are like going, "Oh no, but we're keeping this and we're keeping this." Like I just didn't. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just go. Get someone to come and get fucking Lorne Balfe to come in, the guy who writes the scores for the last couple of Mission Impossible films, and get him to do a big operatic shit. So he loves that.
He also did. Lauren Balfe also did the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and then did the concept album with like weird songs in that world. It was super great.
I like his stuff. He's a good. He did the one for. I watched my first Will Smith movie since The Flap. Since The Flap? Yeah, you know how he's got a flap in the front. You know how Will Smith has a flap in the front, and that's where he keeps his Skittles. Since the slap at the Oscars, because I said I wouldn't do that anymore, but I've changed a lot since my trip, so I don't really care anymore. And I wanted to watch the new Bad Boys movie because, again, my I don't need to call them my pals. They're not my pals. They're just a podcast that I fucking love, the We Had Movies podcast. Did an episode on it, the most recent one for their worst of 2024. That I wanted to know what they were talking about, so I watched it, and it was fine. It was whatever. I have no feelings about Will Smith whatsoever anymore. But yeah, Lorne Balfe did a fucking banger score for it. I noticed that, absolutely. What are we talking about? Superman. So how do you feel about it now? Do you feel like, did you watch it some more and it's grown on you, or did you sort of go, oh, hang on, this could be something?
I'm trying my best not to be cynical about it, though.
That's good, because there's no reason to be. It's a fucking movie. I wish James Gunn the best of luck. I listened to his The Suicide Squad director's commentary the other day while I had the film on in the background. He's a very passionate guy, and he loves this stuff. So I wish him the best of luck. I hope it goes well for him. I don't really dig the aesthetic. I think it works for his aesthetic works for Guardians, because Guardians is punk rock, but Superman is not. Superman is Wagner or Mozart or something, you know. So yeah, I'm not super funny super. I'm not super into the look of it, but that's just aesthetics again. Like that's just the way that for me, Superman should be big wide lenses and not big wide lenses, sorry, big wide expanses and you know, prestige filming techniques and Norman Rockwell and, you know, like the Christopher Reeve stuff, he should be filmed as a god, but actually attaching a camera to him as he spirals and stuff, and, you know, even Zach did a bit of that kind of thing. I don't know, it just feels a little bit off for me, but I'll be happily proved wrong when it comes out. So speaking of things that are super, how about 2024 as a year for movies? Just some of the best shits you'll ever see, really. Just some of the greatest movies ever really came out. And that's not hyperbole. I think this was a year of some really interesting, thought-provoking stuff, particularly in the independent realm, the independent cinema. People got, like we said, in our Best of 2023 episode, people are tired of this franchise stuff. People are getting sick of it. They want some nutrients, and when they get it, these things do well. So I'm excited to go through our top 10. I've got top 10, and then I've got like a 5 also ran. 5 movies that were also good that didn't make it on my top 10. And I just want to preface this, and I don't know if you're the same, Maddie. These are the movies that stayed with me, that I was thinking about days and days after seeing them, that I would bring up in conversation, whatever. They're not necessarily the best movies that were made. They're not necessarily the most entertaining movies that were made. They were the ones that interested me the most, that held my interest, that was something new that I hadn't seen before. There's going to be some contentious things on my top 10, and there's going to be a couple of things that I left out that people are going to be like, what the fuck? Why isn't that on there? That's because you have your list and I have mine. So this isn't any shade to anybody, including the people who made other movies that were really good, or you yourself, dear listener, or you, Addy, who have your lists and think that mine is wrong. Nothing's wrong. This is just how I feel about movies of this year. Okay, so shall we start with the also rans? So the top 5 best of the rest kind of thing. Honourable mentions are The Outrun with Saoirse Ronan, where she plays a young Irish girl. I think she's Irish, or she might be Scottish. It's hard to tell with her because she's a chameleon, dealing with alcoholism. I watched it on a plane. Incredible film. The film Lee with Cate Blanchett, where she plays a famous wartime photographer. Wonderful film. I went and saw it with Alex, our company photographer, and she loved it too. The 2-part documentary Steve, about Steve Martin on Apple TV, which was an exceptionally well put together documentary and really insight into a guy who is a much more layered individual than I thought he was. The Fall Guy, because it was just so much fucking fun. I had a great time with that. What are you laughing at?
Because I completely forgot.
Yeah, it was good time, and Ryan Gosling doing comedy and action, and he had great chemistry with Emily Blunt. And this is going to be contentious, because this isn't in the top 10. Dune Part 2. Now, I love Dune Part 2. I really do. I saw it 3 times at the cinema. We did a fucking episode on it with my main man, Tommy, from Podcast Assemble. And we loved it. We loved all of the sandworm nipples. But it's just because if it had been Dune Part 1, it would be in the top 10. It's a great film and everything, but I had seen it before. I'd seen what they were doing, and I'd seen that. Some of the stuff that's in my top 10, they're all original pieces of work that I hadn't seen before, the type I hadn't seen before. So they're my things. I still love Dune, everyone. It's okay.
I want to talk about the Dune 2 episode that we did, because it feels like a gas leak episode. I don't know what was happening there.
I don't. I mean, it's me and you were bad enough, and then you add Tommy's sort of manic, energy and his podcasting prowess, and fucking all bets are off. So yeah, I don't think it feels like a gas leak episode is a really good way to put it. We're all high on something.
So my honorable mentions now, because of you, are 6. Right. Number 6 is The Fall Guy. For all the reasons, and all the reasons not, it just somehow It did not dominate. And I hate that. But it just did not.
Yeah. It worked, though, but it just didn't work for the box office, I guess.
Now, this one's going to be a surprise for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because my number 5 honorable mention is Inside Out 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow. I thought that'd be on your much higher.
That was one movie that we watched that took over everything else.
Yeah.
Number 4
I did really like that too, yeah.
Number 4 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Good film.
Ooh.
Good action. Okay story. I'm excited. I'm intrigued to see what they do with the other two.
Yep.
But yeah, number 3 is Challengers.
Nice.
That's solely because of you, because you sold me on it.
Yeah, the fucking score alone is reason enough to put that on your list.
Number 2 is A Real Pain. I watched this quite recently. Yes, so much more better than his directorial debut. Just like story and dialogue wise. And him and Kieran Culkin.
Kieran Culkin, yeah.
Alright, like their chemistry is just, it's so good. And it's on a very well made hour and a half. And you go on a journey, and it like by the end of it, you don't want it to end because you've gotten more comfortable with these characters than you were an hour ago. That's a good thing. And my number 1 honorable mention is The Order, starring Nicholas Hoult and Jude Law.
Yeah, right. That hasn't been released here yet.
And Ty Sheridan. Pretty good movie. Pretty dull, pretty dark. Frankly, very important for the times that we're living in. Yeah,
it's about people going up against the white supremacists. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's about a real investigation and a real case that happened in the 1970s, I believe, 70s to 80s.
Mm-hmm.
About this, it's about the separatist group that came out of a separatist church.
Right. Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. It looks really good. Excellent. Well, let's get into our top 10 films of 2025. No, it's 2024. Now it's 2025. It was 2024. I'm just going to jump in straight away with my number 10. Again, this is going to be contentious. It's The Joker Folie à Deux.
What?
And I'll tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because as poorly received as that was, I got it. Like, I understood what they were doing. And it was trying something different than the first film in terms of how it was presented, which I really appreciated. I thought it was really well shot. I love the fact that they recorded all the music live on set. Like, they weren't recordings. They were recorded in the room. And they took a big swing, and it missed. But I appreciate the big swing. And again, it was one of those movies that afterwards I was talking to people about. I was thinking about it afterwards as well. I had to give it some love because no one else will. Even though I did go on the Sequel Suck podcast and do an absolutely unhinged episode on it with those guys at the end of last year and talked about how much I did enjoy it. And again, it's not a better film than something like Dune 2. Absolutely it's not. But it's something that stayed with me, and that's what's got to count at the moment. So
we listen and we don't
Addy
judge.
has left the chat. Sorry, buddy.
My number 10 might be surprising, but it's Wicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought about it, and I thought, it's recency biased, and because the place that I stayed in Canada, my favourite place that I stayed in Canada was where I went and saw it. I'm like, that's colouring my feelings about it too much, because I went to this tiny one-room cinema where they were like... It was like a fucking school cafeteria sort of thing. It was just a screen. It was fantastic. I loved it. A place called Golden in Alberta, and yeah, that was sort of colouring my feelings about the film. But I did enjoy it. You loved it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I watched it 3 times in theaters.
Damn! Why isn't it higher on the list?
That's why I said that it was surprising. It just
this list is going to be fucking gangster.
I absolutely loved it. I am looking forward to the second part.
My number 9, spoilers ahead, is a Netflix film, French film, called Under Paris. And it's about a scientist who discovers that inside the Seine, which is a river that flows through Paris, I think it's called the Seine, or maybe it's the Seine, there is a bunch of sharks that have kind of like mutated and are all about killing people. And they're about to have a huge marathon in that body of water. And it's a fucking gangster-ass shark picture, which I love. And the ending is fucking... It's like Batman. It's like the Batman. The whole city gets flooded because all these fucking old bombs go off and all the sharks take over the city. And then it ends. It's like, what the fuck? It was fucking great. I had such a good time with it. I had a big bowl of popcorn and a laugh and a tickle. It was awesome.
That's awesome. My number 9 is Gladiator 2.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Is that only because you get to see Paul Mescal's tan tone physique?
Yeah.
His bodice.
And also the fucking sharks in the Colosseum.
I'll never understand it. I can understand them being under Paris. I can never understand them being in the Colosseum.
There's a connection to the first one, sure, but it's a similar story, and then it takes a turn in the last hour of it. And then, like, once he's done fighting, you're like, okay, so we get up and leave, and then there's an hour left. And you're like, oh shit, this is commentary on real life. Holy shit. It
definitely was doing its own thing, even though it did follow the formula of the first film quite a bit, yeah.
I loved it. Also, I watched Gladiator like 30 minutes before I went into watching Gladiator 2.
That's how you do it. That's the way to do it. That's what I did when I went to see Moana 2, because it was the only movie playing at the Roxy Theatre in Revelstoke, Canada. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to watch the first one then, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I loved it. It's not on my list, but I loved it.
Yeah, I love Gladiator 2, and I'm a Gladiator 2 defender, because for all the things that people will say about it, it had Paul Mescal in a Roman gladiator outfit, and that beats it all.
Sure did. Yeah, put that homie in fucking anything. Put that guy in goddamn... Just wrap him up in roll-ups. You know those edible fruit roll-ups?
I know.
Yeah, just cover him in them. Cover him in them, and he'll look like a fucking Technicolor treat.
And then I will buy all of those, and then, like...
like all those women on whatever the things are, not Etsy,
fucking
I don't know,
eBay.
where you go to buy weird stuff off people and they're selling their bath water and shit. I'm like, dudes, like that's
fucking Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, probably. You're probably not wrong. It's like, yeah, you can get a cot and some old comic books and, you know, a lawnmower that only works half the time and someone's urine. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Wait a second. This has gone way out of bounds here. All I was looking for was a bike. Christ. Anyway, back to the list. Number 8 for me was the Apple TV produced film Wolves with Brad Pitt and the George Clooneys. Directed by the guy who directed the 3 Spider-Man films with Tom Holland.
John Watts.
I can't remember his name. John Watts. Really, really good film. Really well executed. I love these professional fixer movies. George Clooney was already in one called Michael Clayton, which is excellent. And I love those two sparring off each other. I'd also just watched the really, really underrated and really, really excellent George Clooney film, The American, which is about a hitman who goes to a small town in Italy to build a gun for another hitman and ends up falling in love with a young prostitute there and trying to get out of life. And it's got this beautiful European prestige feel about it. And I just watched that. So I was in a George Clooney space. But yeah, I just thought it was like technically really well done. It was quirky. It was smart. It ended brilliantly. Like I loved the ending. Yeah, it just kind of hit all the good spaces for me. And it was, again, it was something new. It was an original piece of material, as was Under Paris, as was The Outrun. I mean, The Outrun was based on a book or based on someone's life. But yeah, I just enjoy things that someone plucked out of the ether and made, as opposed to something, you know, that came from somewhere else.
My number 8 is Superman, Christopher Reeve story.
Yeah, that I had that in there as well. In the also rans, but I liked Steve more. Like I thought it was a better produced piece, and I got more out of it. Even though Christopher Reeve's story is great and it made me cry, but it wouldn't have taken much to make me cry for that one. Yeah, so it's your number 8 because.
Well, because it's real life Superman. There's a line in the trailer, and then it's literally the 45 minutes after, like the last 45 minutes of the documentary is, Christopher Reeve is the reason why people can walk today. Or, well, not people, but like people with that disability can walk today.
Yeah, no, Christopher Reeve isn't responsible for everybody who walks. We know what you mean. Like, you're talking about people who have spinal injury. Yeah, not just me and you. Like, hey, we're still doing it. Thanks, Chris. It's not what you mean.
But yeah, it was quite emotional the first time I watched it. And then I was left alone for 2 hours on my trip. And I watched it again, which was the first film I watched of this year. And yeah, it broke me all over again.
Well, way to kickstart your year in a positive life, friend. That's excellent. Moving on to number 7. This one's going to be contentious for a lot of people out there as well. I don't know, maybe, and I'm not being contrarian. I'm really not. I went on Tommy and DL's podcast and spoke about this too. Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola picture. I loved it. It was so strange and specific and quirky, and it was something that he built himself, and it was saying a lot about who he was and about filmmaking in general, and him, being who he was, and this, famous filmmaker who could no longer get funding for his projects, even though he made The fucking Godfather and all these films because of the way that the industry changed. And I think the performances are really interesting. Adam Driver's excellent in it. Yeah, I really dug it. And if you want to hear me talk about it more at length, do go over to Podcast Assemble and have a listen to that episode. It's me, Tommy, and Matt, their producer, chatting about it. And yeah, I liked it a lot. Sorry.
So is it really like Babylon of last year?
Yes, it is. It's very much a very misunderstood piece. Yeah. There's some stuff in it that doesn't work, and it's too long, and there's a whole bunch of things wrong with it. There's dozens of things wrong with it. But it held my interest the whole time. I was thinking about it days after. I was talking about it days after. These are the things that are going to be on my list, as opposed to whatever the next big blockbuster is. Original material, friends. Someone sits down at a computer, and in front of them is nothing, and then they create something out of it, whole cloth, from scratch, and it's beautiful. It's one of the most. It's the closest thing you get to magic.
You come back next year to find out Fantastic Four is number 1 on both of our lists.
Yeah, well, hey, look, you never know. I am under no obligation to be the same person I was 5 minutes ago. Thank you very much. So it's like in Shrinking, where he says it, where he comes in and he's like staring at his muffin, staring at his candy. He goes, "I asked you if you wanted one, and you said you didn't want one, and told me to go fuck myself." And he's like, "Yeah, well, that was 5 minutes ago. People change," and it's absolutely true.
That is so true. Oh, such a wonderful
Harrison
show,
Ford, man. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your number 7?
My number 7, you probably have not seen this one. It's Twisters with Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones. I
went and saw Twisters opening day, man.
Oh shit! Well, then you understand.
It was fine.
Damn, man. I missed it in theaters. Then when I watched it, it was the most epic shit ever. I'm sorry. It was so fun. It was very fun.
That's all you asked for, Yes. And I had a good time with it too. How they made cake out of the sky. It was incredible.
Also, tell me how you did not like it. You went and watched it in the theater, and the third act is the theater getting blown away by the fucking tornado.
Pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And it's really good effects, and it was a good story. It didn't really, like, I kept expecting it to be like, oh, my mum, and then you turn up and her mum's Helen Hunt from the original film. But it was sort of like a reboot almost. And just having the balls to kill half of your young popular cast at the beginning of the picture. And yeah, I dug it. I dug it a lot. This is another Netflix produced picture, Rebel Ridge.
I still have to watch that.
Rebel Ridge. It's really fucking good. So Aaron Pierre, who is a British actor, as far as I understand, who was also in Foe, and is now going to be Jon Stewart in the Lanterns TV show, which I'm really excited about, especially now that I'm watching Friday Night Lights with Kyle Chandler, who's been cast as Hal. This movie was excellent. It was really precision filmmaking. It was about a lot of stuff that, you know, we're talking about at the moment, prejudice within police departments and you know, just, you know, the marginalized minorities, especially when it comes to people who have been wronged in some way by the police, and someone who was a military man but never served. He trained people in non-lethal combat, and you sort of feel this guy, and he's really smooth and he's really calm, and they take his money and he tries to get it back, and then, you know, they keep fucking with him, and then there's a scene where he takes out a bunch of them without injuring anyone, so much so that he takes a shotgun off a guy and racks it until all the shells come out, and then uses it to throw at someone. Like, it was just, again, something I've never seen, an original piece of material, and a really cool modern action film that had old style action film tropes. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, Rebel Ridge, it's excellent. Definitely watch it before the Lanterns show comes out.
My number 6 is Conclave, starring Ralph Fiennes and Stanley Tucci.
I've heard so many things about this, and everyone's like, it is amazing. Tell me what the big deal is.
The plot is that the Pope dies, and the congregation then has to elect a new Pope, and that's the entire plot of it. But then there are people scheming, and it depicts the problems and the flaws of organized religion, while being a hopeful take on what religion should represent, but without preaching any of it. And that's what I liked about it.
Number 5 for me is Challenges. Again, another contentious one that people didn't like for a bunch of reasons, but I listened to the Script Apart podcast where the screenwriter who also wrote the film Queer with Daniel Craig talked about it, and just I love the style of it. Like, Luca's a great is it Luca or Luda? Luca, sorry. Is Luda the film about the little fish kid? That's Luca as well, isn't it?
That's Luca as well, yeah.
Yeah, double Luca. The stylized nature of it, the absolutely fantastic score by Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor just had me pumped up. I enjoyed a look into that because I used to watch tennis a lot when I was younger because my mum was a tennis player and stuff, and so I kind of have that an understanding of it. And the Australian Open is huge here, and it's always around. It's like ubiquitous as far as the sports community goes in Australia. So I've never seen sort of behind the door of that, like what it takes and how you can be injured and how you become young. And even though the characters were kind of one-dimensional in places, I felt like their relationships were really honest. And you know, everyone was sort of waiting for it to be Ita Mama Tumbian or something, and it really wasn't. It was just these three people who love each other very much but don't know how to deal with it. I think it's probably the best that Zendaya's ever been. It's a really, really strong performance from her. And yeah, the cinematic technique and married with an original piece of work again just blew me out of the water.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's also shot on film.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And considering I just put it on to have a wank, it really got me in the end, you know. It's not true. There's heaps of pornography on the internet. I don't know if you know this. There's so much pornography on the internet. You don't even need to watch Challenges to have a wank. You could type in anything you want right now, and you're going to find it.
You can
throng with porn.
You can type in air on TikTok, and you will get porn.
Yeah, that's right. You can type in biscuits, and someone's going to be doing something with biscuits. So, what's your number 5? We're closing in on number 1 now.
My number 5 is I Saw the TV Glow.
Ah, you talked about this.
I did.
You're like, watch it, and I can't find it anywhere.
Well, yeah, you can't. Unless if
You're a cunt. Sorry.
Loud and proud, baby.
That's right, baby. Sorry, so what is it?
With unequal
Explain
flaps and proud. Sorry.
Just like a badly packed kebab. Like a sandwich with too much ham. Can we please? It triggered my cough. Oh dear. Oh. What? What's the movie about? Tell me again. I'm sorry. Watch the TV glow. The glow from the TV. What is it?
Yes, it's called I Saw the TV Glow. It's about these two people, and we see them at different parts of their teenage years, kind of connect about this one TV show called The Pink Opaque. It's a TV show. It's like inspired by Buffy, sort of. But this is the one film in my top 10 that I cannot explain because it hits a little too deep, and it's a horror film, but it's through a lens of somebody who's queer and doesn't know it, as far as I can tell. It's not something that will hold your hand at all, and parts of it you will not understand what's happening, and that's the beauty of it, because that's the thing that will stick with you. Okay, I will probably never rewatch it again because it's too exhausting and too taxing on the soul. But do watch it.
There you go, everybody. Go and check it out. Fantastic. Number 4. Here we go. Getting right there. Civil War. Alex Garland's picture. This came out at the start of the year, and I fucking loved it. I know, again, it's another contentious one. People didn't like it. They felt like it wasn't taking sides. I felt like that was kind of the point because journalists are supposed to be neutral. It was really interesting to see that a conflict like that be played out for photojournalists and for journalists and how they would get there and considering what happened last year before and after the film came out. It's not, I mean, I was in America recently. It's not as contentious as that at all. They're actually quite lovely people, but internally there's a lot of struggles still going on, and the struggles are the same. They've always been that way. The cycle repeats, or the cycle repeats rather. And I just thought it was really well executed. I thought it was, I was shook when things happened. When you go down, you see those guys hanging there and she takes photos of them, or when you see Jesse Plemons' character, he's this militant fucking nutbag racist. And yeah, I thought it was really good. I love Alex Garland's work. I think he's one of the most interesting science fiction writers who's working at the moment in cinema. I know this is probably going to be his last film because he's tired of Hollywood and tired of the process, but it was a good one to go out on. Yeah, I really dug it.
Isn't he also teaming up with Danny Boyle for 28 years later, coming out this year?
Yeah, but he's not directing it. Like, I don't think he's going to direct anymore. I think it's become too taxing on him. But yeah, excellent picture.
I'm looking forward to it because I believe the art house cinema here is doing a double bill of, or like a double feature of Lee and Civil War in the same day. Yeah,
nice.
So
yeah, that's a good double bill.
I might do that. I might just watch it at home.
Do your own double bill. Fuck it. Yeah. What's your number 4? The
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Excellent. I was going to rewatch this for today, but it didn't happen, so I'm sorry. Tell me why you liked it so much.
It's Henry Cavill as a World War I vet. No, it takes place during the First World War, and it's a real story taken from Churchill's diaries that was released in 2016. It's it's the first Black Ops mission in recorded history, and how those came to be, and what kind of people were they looking for when that program first started. And it's Guy Ritchie with Henry Cavill, and it's action comedy, and it's so perfectly well made that even like the uninteresting parts you like feel are fun, because it's so stylized, and like from the very first frame, it's so stylized that you're like, if you don't like that style, you won't like it. But it's a fun film with amazing performances. Alan Richardson is playing a bear in that film.
The dude is a bear, let's face it.
And he is, yeah, like there's no competition who the lead of the film is, but like all of the people. Henry Golding is in this one, and he is superb. There's a guy who looks like Tommy, and I couldn't get it out of my head. Every time he spoke, it felt like he was Tommy.
Tommy of
Yes.
Podcast Assemble.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to go back and have a look then. Yeah. I think it's Richardson as well. Alan Richardson, not Richardson.
Sorry. Alan Richardson.
No, it's fine. Just correcting it in case he's listening. I know how much he loves podcasting when he's not busy making 7 seasons of Reacher and movies and shit.
The 3rd season is coming out.
I know, but it bunched up with the 2nd season. Yeah, it's like the end of February, but it bunched up with the 2nd season so much because he wanted to be in Fast X. And they were like, yeah, you can do that, but you've got to make a 3rd season of Reacher right the very fuck now, sir. And he was like, okay, I'm massive. Don't worry about it. Well, good. I'm going to go back. I'm going to watch it this weekend and reinvestigate. Em will love it too. She loves wartime stuff, and she loves Guy Ritchie pictures. Actually, with everyone she watched, she even liked The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So
I love The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, me too. Except that it's got a serial sex pest in it, but
yes, but it's also Hugh Grant and Henry Cavill.
Let's move on to number 3. Of course, The Wild Robot. This movie it's perfect. It's a perfect film. I love it so much. We did a whole episode on it. So go back and listen to that episode and listen to me just eat the salad of this fucking movie, because it is amazing, and you'll be better for seeing it.
I absolutely agree.
It must be on your list too. It must be pretty high. I wonder if it's number 3.
It's not on my list.
It's not on your list?
It's not.
What the fuck are we doing here? Are you kidding me? How is it not on your list? This is bizarre, everybody. That's almost as big of a reaction as you were like when you've got the Joker Folie à Deux on you. What a prick. And mine was number 10. You don't even have it on there. The Wild Robot shames you. He shames you. I don't really care. What's your actual number 3 then?
That's such a bullshit answer. I don't really care.
It is. Yeah, that's me playing soft. I don't really care anyway. Don't worry about it. It's whatever. I don't care if you don't come to my baseball game, Dad. Okay. What's your number 3 actually?
My number 3 is Nosferatu. I watched it last night.
Oh, Nosferatu. You must have done this list quickly because you watched this yesterday, didn't you? Oh,
no. I watched it like less than 12 hours ago.
Yeah, right. I still haven't seen it because it was banging on when I was overseas in Canada, and I was doing other things. And then I've come back, and the showings are very infrequent at the moment. So why did you love it? Well,
it's Robert Eggers, and it's all goth, all of it. Like there's very little color, and I love Robert Eggers and what he does, especially when it comes to folktales and fairy tales. Like The Witch is one of my favorite films of all time. I haven't seen The Northman, but there's one shot. There's one single shot.
Excellent.
There is one single shot in this film where they're on a boat, and it lasts for barely 2 seconds. You know, like holy fuck, that's epic. And it doesn't have to be. It's a boat in water. It doesn't have to be, but it just is that epic.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got to check it out.
But yeah, it's really fun.
I'm excited to see it. I'm also looking forward to the fact that his next film is a werewolf picture, and I love me some werewolves. Even though I haven't seen The Wolfman, but still.
This is a tangent, and you can probably cut this off. But I went to a film camp which lasted for a day, in which they showed us how to pitch.
Not much of a camp. You're not camping at all. If you're going for a day, that's that's a go someplace.
Yeah,
I went to a film go somewhere. Sorry.
Well, technically, we didn't go anywhere. Just went to my uni.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that's fucked. This isn't anything. This isn't a camp. Your uni is shit.
It's not. So they don't fucking.
That's probably awesome, actually. Yeah, it's one of the state of art buildings in the world, probably state of the art.
Yeah, our campus is as big as a city, which is insane.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Need rollerblades to get to fucking class.
Oh no, we take buses to go to one building.
Seriously,
we take buses.
Fuck, man, that's amazing. That's crazy. Yeah, that's like those. It's like fucking Oppenheimer's Village. That's incredible. Sorry, your tangent was you went to film not day camp.
Yes, I went to film not day camp, and they taught us how to pitch a short film to executives. Mm-hmm. And I pitched a werewolf story, but the lead is a female werewolf. And then
awesome.
They liked it so much that they let me keep my
pants
my presentation.
On. Sorry.
Wow. Hey man, it's a school.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
I do like the idea that that's a punishment, though. That's a terrible idea for a short film. Take your pants off. I beg your pardon? You fucking heard me. That's the shit film. Take off your pants. That's not in the bylaws. Oh, I love that. Take your pants off. Are you even a teacher here? Neither here nor there, sir. Pants off.
No, they weren't. They were guest lecturers.
Oh, dear. Uh-oh. Are you sure that you should have checked their credentials, that's for sure. Speaking of taking your pants off, it's a weird segue. You know what's a good female... this isn't take your pants off either. I was about to go into my number 2, but I'll tell you this. Ginger Snaps is a really great female-led werewolf movie, if you get a chance to see it. My number 2 is The Brutalist. I fucking loved this movie. I love the runtime. I love the rich character work. I love the technical prowess. I love Adrian Brody. Guy Pearce. I mean, this dude has been... He's the strongest male actor to come out of Australia, absolutely. And he's been a great character actor for so long. I've never not liked a performance of his, even if it is in a movie that I don't like. He's a solid worker. He's going to win a fucking statue for this portrayal. It is absolutely excellent. Again, an original piece of material about something that's a very, very real thing that happened. Remarkable cinema, like proper cinema. The VistaVision, just the aesthetic of it. I know everyone's banging on about they used AI to adjust the accents from the actors who were trying to get, regional Hungarian Jew accents in the late 1940s. Correct? I don't know. At least they came out and told everybody instead of not, hiding behind it and pretending like that's not what it was. But yeah, it was a remarkable piece of work. And again, I was thinking about it for days after. And it was the first, my return to the Astor after being away for 6 or 7 weeks. So yeah, loved it. Please go out and see it. Give this movie some love. It just won a Golden Globe. It's going to sweep the Oscars. I can feel it.
It comes out in March here, so I don't know when the fuck I'm seeing it.
Yeah, after it wins all the Oscars, I promise you. But yeah, we'll talk about it when you see it. What's your number 2?
Yeah,
Is it poo? That's lowbrow, Reeks. That's way lowbrow. You're better than that. You're way better than that. You're smarter than that. Fuck. Talking about how great The Brutalist is, this wonderful, artistic, original, rich piece of art that came into my life. And then the next thing I do is make a doo-doo joke.
Well,
what is your second film on your top 10?
A doo-doo can be brutalist too, because, sometimes it's brutal on your stomach.
Sometimes a doo-doo is brutal. Let's be real. Sometimes you just got to get it out. What are we talking about? Can you please go to number 2? I mean, can you do a 2? Can you please hang on? Just fucking tell me what your second film is.
I think
Mercy.
I think not, because I have something else to say.
Oh, okay. About doo-doo?
Yeah. I think I shot myself really hard because like I have flaps now. No, please cut that out.
No.
I just wanted to make you laugh.
Absolutely not. That's hysterical. I'm not cutting that out. No, that's fucking funny.
I think the
Have you
butt.
shit yourself so hard you have flaps?
I think like the butthole skin that was supposed to be inside is now out. So like I
Oh
don't know.
my goodness. You should get that looked at, my friend. I'm assuming this is all a joke.
It's not, but sure.
Old butt flaps Addy. You know what it's like.
I like my
Jesus.
flaps. Fuck you.
Fuck you. I like having curtains down there. Anyway, what is your second favourite film of this year? Butt flaps?
My second favorite film of last year is The Wild Robot.
Thank you. You said it wasn't on the list. You lying scoundrel with the flaps. Can't believe it. All right, then. Do you want to just tell people to go and listen to our episode of it?
Yes, just
Save
fucking
some
go
time?
listen to our episode. Cause,
Yeah, we did.
Because we loved it.
We were very, very positive about the picture. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
All right, number 1. Here we go. I'll put a drum roll in. Drum roll, please. My number 1 picture of 2024 is Enora. I love this movie. I might have been geographically biased because I saw it on 8th Street and Houston in Manhattan when I was in New York City, and it's a really New York film. The character of Annie, Enora, is from Queens, and it was so funny and so sweet and so personal and so complex and so New York that when I walked out, I saw it with a New York audience for starters, and they were all laughing at shit and, you know, like shouting stuff out to the screen and, you know, being involved because they all knew the regional accents and all that stuff. And I met a woman from Queens a few days later in Brooklyn, and she sounded exactly like her. And it was just, yeah. And the performance, Mikey Madsen's performance is so brave. She bears it all. And I don't just mean she takes her clothes off. She's absolutely raw on screen. And again, as I said, it's really hysterical. Like, there's some fantastic comedy moments, and it's this sort of one crazy night thing by the time you get to the end. But it's also got so much heart, and it's just about people and how absolutely none of us are perfect. And that doesn't mean that we're bad. It just means that we're complicated, and it's okay to be that, as long as you try and go into the world with you know, love and kindness and generosity in your heart, and understand that not everybody else is going to do that, and you have to rise to the occasion and be that for someone else. Specifically the sort of gangster heavy who ends up kind of falling in love with her a little bit. Yeah, it was a beautiful film. It was so well executed, so well written, so well performed. Stunning cinematography. Yeah, I loved it. I couldn't recommend it more highly. So go out and see Nora if you get the opportunity.
It wasn't my cup of tea, but I did end up crying by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be a fucking sphinx not to, you know.
It's that hug at the end, man.
Yeah, really powerful. And that ends the picture as well. Like, that doesn't really ruin anything, folks. There's just a specific moment of human intimacy at the end that really, you know, says it all. It's just as strong as the whisper that you don't hear at the end of Lost in Translation. You know, just the perfect way to end the film, yeah. So do you want a drum roll?
Sure.
Here it comes. Drum roll for Addy. Here it is. And your number 1 film is...
Guess what it is.
No, that's not the game we're playing. The drum roll has ended. Fucking say it.
My number 1 film of 2024 is Dune Part 2.
Dune 2. That's so funny. Last year our lists were almost the same. So just different things. Tell me why you love Dune 2's part so much, Dune 2 part so much, Dune part 2 so much, or shall everybody just go back and listen to the fucking episode?
Yes, do that.
But give us a little brief.
It's a follow-up to Dune Part 1, and Dune Part 1 was quite literally my second favorite film of all time.
Your first being Little Women?
No, my first being A Star Is Born at the time, and now Dune 2 is, and now Dune Part 1 is third. Yes, because I make lists, make weird stuff. What? Sorry.
I make lisps and have flaps. Bless you.
Yes. Dune Part 2.
Okay. Dune Part 2. Excellent. Well, everybody, go and listen to our episode on Dune Part 2 that we did with the wonderful Tommy from Podcast Assemble. Any other words about Dune Part 2?
Yeah, it's a really great story about the rise of a powerful leader who abuses power. It's the white savior story done right.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point, because he ultimately becomes corrupted, and thinks he's a messiah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And it's the technical prowess aside, it's something that for the longest time was considered unfilmable. When I watched Twisters, I thought it was the best film I've seen of that year, and that was after Dune 2. And I rewatched Dune 2 quite recently, and it gave me all the feels, it gave me all the same feels that I felt while I watched it the first time in theaters. And it's just that, it's a fucking sandworm, man. And there's 3 of them in here.
Excellent. Well, that's it, folks. That's our top 10 films of the year. We're going to quickly do maybe, because we're running a little long, we're going to do our top 5 TV, and then maybe do kind of the other ones that were also good in the TV. So, yeah, TV from 2024. Addie, what is your 5th favourite TV show from 2024?
My 5th favourite TV show from 2024 is, and this was a surprise because I did not like most of it, Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
Oh shit! Yeah, nice. That's a good. That's on my almost rans, or not almost ran, also ran my honorable mentions. I like it. It was literally Monster of the Week.
It was. At first I didn't like it, but then it got really engaging with the with Godzilla showing up as well. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Bit of a slow burn, but yeah, I dug it a lot. An Apple TV joint, everybody. Just bear that in mind. My number 5 is Masters of the Air, which is a sort of a spiritual sequel to Band of Brothers and The Pacific, which are 2 of my favourite TV shows of all time. Really, really great World War II story, specifically about pilots. Austin Butler in there as well, just, absolutely slaying it. But the entire cast is excellent, and it's a really beautifully produced show, and was engaging from start to finish. Apple TV Plus, everybody. So that's 2 already. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is
X-Men 97.
Oh shit, that did come out this year. Fuck. Well, okay. This is so weird because I went on the End of the Line podcast and I forgot then as well the X-Men 97 came out.
It's hard. It's sort of, everything bleeds together sometimes.
Well, okay.
But what's your actual number 4?
So my number 4 then is Shrinking Season 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's so beautiful. And Harrison Ford is just, he is a gift. And he should, if he does no more TV after this is his best performance ever. Sorry.
Yeah, it won't. He won't do any more after this. Yeah, I'll speak a bit more about that because it's higher on my list. But yeah, I'll speak a bit more about that. But yeah, it's absolutely exceptional, and I don't know if it's better than, but I personally engage with it more than I do with even Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is damn near perfect, but the characters don't strike me as hard as the characters in Shrinking.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think Ted Lasso is perfect, but I think these characters are more they're more real somehow.
Yeah, Ted has a like a almost a non sequitur comedy about it. Like it's almost cartoony in places, whereas this isn't. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. Nice. My number 4 is a tie between the Penguin with the fantastic Colin Farrell playing Oz Cobb. Just really love this show. I thought it expanded on the Batman universe really well and was really interesting in its own right. I mean, just the end of that first episode, and I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but really is an excellent way to start a show and to have it have stakes immediately. And his performance is so strong, and the performance of I can't remember the name of the woman who's playing the other lead. Christine Milioti plays Sophia Falcone, and she is exceptional, just so great. Yeah, I loved it. I really loved it. And it's equal with X-Men 97 because that's just, I had to get it in my top 5 somehow, so I put it with another comic property. That show is way better than it has any right to be and is more emotionally engaging than some conversations I've had with my father. So you got to get down. You got to get down on the X-Men 97. I'm looking forward to X-Men 98 or whatever happens next. My
number 3 is Superman and Lois season 4.
Pretty special, huh?
It was pretty special. I believe it was the first season without any mid-season break. I can't say much because it's the last season, and like this show has survived like one of the things that kills a show like this, which is a major recasting in the middle of its run, and it has survived that beautifully. It is also the most realist take on Superman ever. Like I love Henry Cavill and I love Christopher Reeve, but this is I'm too afraid of calling it my Superman, but Tyler Hoechlin has upped the bar for what Superman can do and how real he can be. And he's not Superman 24/7 in that series. There are episodes where he's not even in the episode. There are episodes where Superman is not there. It's the storytelling, the writing, the aesthetic, the casting. It's all really well done, and it makes me feel really happy that this is sort of the end of the CW Arrowverse. But it all ended with the Flash, because the Flash was the last connected of them all, and this is nowhere connected. Like there are no like flashbacks, or there are no like callbacks to things that have happened in other CW Arrowverse properties, and that makes it hard because then you've seen that Superman have some sort of connection with those other characters, but it's the separation of it gives it the push that it needs to be unique and to be the separation of it from the other properties makes it even more real, and to have it's Superman in its newest and, for me, the most interesting frontier of his life is being a father. And without spoiling anything, it ends perfectly. I think more people should watch it.
Can't get a better recommend than that. Absolutely. I'm working my way towards it. My number 3 is a show called Disclaimer, which was a project written and developed by Alfonso Cuarón, who fantastic director of Gravity and Children of Men, a couple of Harry Potter pictures. Anyway, amazing director. He wrote and directed all the episodes of this show. It's basically about a woman who is cancelled by a book that comes out that was written by the woman of a young man who she was involved with and who died in a drowning accident. And there's a lot of different versions of the story goes around. It's exceptionally performed. Cate Blanchett is at some of her best work, which is saying a lot. And there is a particular episode where she goes back over the story that you've been told and tells it from her perspective, and it is absolutely heartbreaking. I was sobbing by the end of it. Incredibly powerful story for now about not only cancel culture and consent, but also sexual violence and, the misunderstanding of what the power that we have to destroy people with our words, and how one person's story is very different than another person's story, even though they're the same story. And yeah, it's really exceptional. Another Apple TV joint, everybody. They're doing some good work over there. All right, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is X-Men 97.
Of course it is. And you can probably go to any number of podcasts, either our own or the one you did with Till the End of the Line boys about that, and listen to us, rant and rave about the whole thing.
It's perfect. It's X-Men. It's X-Men at their best.
It really is a high bar. I don't know how they're going to match this in the MCU when they finally do bring the mutants back. But until then, this is going to be it. My number 2 is Shrinking, season 2. I love this show. It is some of the best drama comedy storytelling I've ever seen. I'm so engaged with the characters. I so understand their plights, even if they're not something that I've been through myself. Grief is something we can all understand. Loss is something we can all understand. Feeling left out, feeling out of place, feeling like you're alone. Yeah, the performances are exceptional, particularly from Harrison Ford. Like, he is really funny, but he's also incredibly sweet and incredibly dear to these people. Brett Goldstein's performance is incredible. It is so nuanced and so small and yet so affecting. I just adore it. I think it's a really, really powerful show, and it's something people need to watch because it helps you. In the same way that Ted Lasso teaches you to be kind, this teaches you to be open and express yourself and tell people how you feel, and don't hide that away, because you can't move forward as a person in a relationship or just for yourself without putting things on Front Street and being like honesty and integrity are more important than any other traits. The final episode of season 2, I watched at an apartment in Hell's Kitchen when I was in New York. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Em was asleep. New York was raging out of our window, and it was only the first night or so we'd been there, so I wasn't used to the street noise yet. And Daredevil wasn't there at all. It's so funny. It's like Hell's Kitchen, Hell's Kitchen this, Hell's Kitchen this. Hell's Kitchen is like 3 blocks. You know what I mean?
That's why they got 5 shows out of it, because it's like all 3 blocks of different people.
Exactly. It's like it's 4 blocks long and 3 blocks wide. It's like 48 to 52nd or something. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, really good pizza joints. But anyway, so I was lying there and I'm watching this on my laptop, and they're doing the Thanksgiving thing where they're all going around saying what they're thankful for. And Paul gets up, Harrison Ford's character, and says what he's thankful for. And he's like, I look around the room and I think, I'm a lucky guy. It's only going to get worse. Like, I don't know. For those of you who haven't seen the show, the character has Parkinson's. And he's like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to work with you. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to laugh with you. And I know that I can't do this alone, basically. And he's like, I'm leaning on you. And it cuts to a reverse of all the actors in that room, and they are all in tears. Because that is Harrison Ford talking about his own mortality, talking about his own existence, and that he is an 80-something-year-old man and he's still banging it out, but he knows the end is far closer than the beginning. I was bawling, and Em woke up. She's like, what's the matter? I'm like, it's fucking shrinking. She's like, oh, okay, well, fucking, I'm going back to sleep then, you unhinged maniac. Yeah, absolutely adored it. It's such a great show. Can't be missed. It is the perfect amount of sweet and sad.
This is the show where I miss it every time it's not on.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 2025 without it, and then 2026 we should be getting season 3. But fuck, I mean, anything could happen.
There's no season 3 this year?
No, it'll be 2026 probably.
Oh, fuck, Game of Thrones used to come out every year. They used to do that every year.
No offense to Game of Thrones fans or anything, but look at the quality of it. You tell a musician that they have a release date on an album they haven't written yet, it's not going to be the best it's going to get. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to be like, all right. Remember they took so long to do season 2 because it was after the strikes, and he's like, we're not going to put anything out if it's not right.
Yeah.
And look what you got. You got a perfect season of TV.
Hopefully we get season 4 of Ted Lasso.
Hey, maybe. Keep going, Apple. We're following you. Again, shrinking, another Apple TV joint.
Hell yeah.
What is your number 1, my friend? I'm not going to give you a drum roll this time. I'm just going to go fireworks or something's going to happen. I don't know. There's going to be a sound right here. And what's your number 1?
Arcane season 2.
Arcane. I thought he said hurricane. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I still haven't watched it, to believe it, because I have to go back and watch the first season because I haven't rewatched it and I'm a bit lost. Pretty... like perfect, was it?
It was perfect in every way, shape, or form, and I absolutely loved every single second that we got of the show, and it has changed the animation industry forever. It has showed that not only can you tell amazing and incredible stories with fantastical characters, but you can tell human stories in a medium that is made out of pure love, because there is not one single frame where they were lazy about it. There is so much detail, so much hard work that has gone into every single thing that you see, and it's incredibly layered.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to dig back in.
Yeah.
That's a post Doom Patrol thing.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for you to watch it, and I'm excited to see what you think of it.
Absolutely. Can't be missed. My number 1, and this is my noise for it.
Oh, yes.
Another Apple TV joint, everybody. I have all the streaming services. I have ones you don't even know about because they're Australian. So, it just goes to show there's some good shit. It was Sugar, season 1 with my main man, Colin Farrell. Just one of the best actors working today. Such an incredible performance. It's a neo-noir detective story about a guy named John Sugar who investigates missing persons in Los Angeles, modern-day Los Angeles. And he's a huge movie fan. He's always talking about movies, and they cut in scenes from movies into the show. But unlike most noir detectives, he's not a drunk, he's not surly, he's not grizzled, he's not a war veteran, he's none of that stuff. He's a very sweet, very genuine, very caring a person who helps people and is a humanitarian. And there's an episode where he sees a young homeless man with a dog outside of a club, and he goes and says, "Hey, can you watch my car? I'm going to give you $50 to watch my car. Not wash, sorry, watch. Just watch it and make sure no one fucks with it or whatever." And as he comes out, he's like, "Where are you sleeping tonight? Blah, blah, blah. Where are you got to go?" And he's going to try and help him get back to his sister who's in, in Arizona or whatever. And that's like, as far as the plot goes, nothing really happens with that apart from the fact that guy ends up ODing and he Sugar inherits his dog, basically, which is awesome. So now he's a PI, a good-natured PI with a dog. So you're hitting all my sweet spots. I love noir pictures as well. It's probably one of my favorite genres. But yeah, it's just that, the kindness that he shows and the gentleness that he shows. I can't talk about the show. If you Google it, you'll find out too much about it. It's a real... The twist of it, a lot of people sort of say they saw it coming, the kind of the way that the story pans out. I don't know. I didn't. I don't know how true that is. It might just be people on the internet, talking guff. But it's better to just go in cold. So don't watch anything. Don't look at anything. Don't look it up. Just get your Apple TV subscription up and go and watch Sugar. You'll be better for it. And you'll either really dig what happens or you won't. And if you don't, then that's fine. You don't have to watch it anymore. But if you do, you'll be richly rewarded with a story that it goes places you not think it's going to go. I've watched it 3 times, the whole season, this year. And it's even informed some of the work that I've done aesthetically and how I shoot and stuff. So yeah, Sugar on Apple TV Plus. They're not a sponsor. We don't have If it was Apple TV Plus, they'd be very posh. They'd be talking like this, probably. Oh, hello. We're very prestige. Come over here. Everything looks gorgeous, and look at our color palette.
That's literally Hugh Grant, and you cannot say that I'm wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, maybe I'm going to lock a couple of girls away and make them do religious studies or whatever.
Oh my god, I saw that too.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty disturbing. Pretty good.
That's what we like. Just a couple of quick almost rants for me. Colin from Accounts, the Australian TV show, season 2 came out. Just fantastic. Again, comedy drama storytelling about this couple who gets together after they sort of brought together by a dog being injured, and then end up dating, and they sort of inherit the dog and call it Colin from Accounts. Dark Matter, another Apple TV show with Joel Edgerton. Really, really great science fiction. They're doing some great science fiction work over there with that and Severance and Silo. The New Look, which is a story about Christian Dior, with another Apple TV miniseries. Was really great. Ben Mendelsohn, just exceptional performance. Cross on Amazon Plus with Aldous Hodge playing the famous African-American detective. First name I forget now, Cross, but it's sort of like a retelling of that story with him as a young man, sort of like what they did with Reacher. Yeah, really, really, really great first season. And yeah, I had Monarch Legacy of Monsters on there as well. So that's it, everybody. That's your top 5 or your top 10 or your top deck or whatever the fuck it is you want to talk about, but that's what it is. We're so glad to be back. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy it. We'll be pretty much weekly moving forward. We've kind of worked it out so that's going to happen, and we're going to talk about some fun shit. I've had a few requests for us to do more new movies, more things that are coming out in cinemas or direct to streaming, but more modern stuff, and instead of going backwards always. So that's definitely something we're going to look into. I've actually got a few films in mind already. Fantastic Four might fucking be one of them. But anyway, we're just happy to be here, as always, talking shit, 2 friends, 2 pals, just loving life and movies and all that good stuff. So do we have any questions this week?
We do. I also did have honorable mentions for TV shows.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I didn't realise. Because we said 5 and then I made like 10, so yeah.
Yeah, I had Loki season 2, Agatha All Along, and Agatha All Along was really fun. And it's only going to be 1 season because Disney's scared of lesbians. So that's literally the
Disney is scared of lesbians. Can we get a soundbite of that, everybody? Disney is scared of... I'm on a fucking t-shirt. # Disney is scared of lesbians. That's great. That's so great.
And The Legend of Vox Machina season 3. It did not make it in my top 5 because I remembered that X-Men 97 happened. So yeah, but it's still great. It's still great. Tough. I hope we're gonna get some news for the Mighty Knight this year. So yeah,
fantastic. All right, well, let's go into some questions then.
Well, I asked a question to give us your top 3 movies of this year, and only Chaz has responded. Which is always
what was his top 3?
He sent a picture, but he did not send it to me.
I bet he did. I fucking bet he did. All cock. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't seen it.
Do you remember that one time we talked about Chaz in the X-Men episode? And from all the X-Men episodes that we've done, there was one that we talked about him. And then he sent us a video of him cosplaying as fucking Professor X. But
in the chair.
But the chair was vibrating.
Hey man, if we've got a fan who's cosplaying because of things we say, we're a good podcast. We're doing all right. So what was his top 3?
Hold on. All right. So his favorite series was House of Ninja, Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Okay.
Blue-Eyed Samurai is fucking amazing, and people should watch it.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
And Shogun and Monarch. So I haven't watched Shogun yet.
Oh, yeah, Shogun's supposed to be excellent. Johnny was a big fan of that too. I saw the first 2 episodes, I think, and then dropped off. I can't remember why, though. It's hard. There's so much content, especially TV series. I mean, fuck my hole. It's just all there. I said that on the Sequel Suck podcast the other night. We did an episode on Under Siege 2, and I said fuck my hole, and then no one was ready. They were not prepared. They were not prepared for my podcasting nonsense. I'll be back on that show again next week, everybody. We're talking about American Psycho 2.
His favorite films were Body. That's an Indonesian film.
Okay, not familiar.
Godzilla -1. Still haven't watched that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And Twilight of the Warriors Wall. No idea what that is. But
Twilight of the Warriors, how do you spell it?
just how you spell it. Twilight of the Warriors Wall. W-A-L-L.
Wall.
Yeah.
W-A-L-L. Oh, okay. Well, Chaz, just hit us up in the comments and let us know what the fuck you're talking about. And we love you, mate. We appreciate your interaction as always. And I'll definitely add those to the list. Thanks again, everybody. Welcome back. Happy 2025. Let's go into it with nothing but peace and love and gratitude in our hearts. And keep watching them movies. And we'll keep talking fucking shit about them. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
It's good to be back. We'll see you next week with something else fun. And remember...
Stay amazing. Stay safe. See you in Hell's Kitchen next week, maybe.
I thought you were going to say something about your flaps, but sure.